Thank you, Madam Chairman. Secretary Haaland, exactly a year ago, you were before this committee to testify and asked you about the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service's 12-month status review on grizzly bears in the Greater Yellowstone ecosystem and Northern Continental Divide ecosystem. We're now 15 months into what was supposed to be a 12-month status review, and there's no end in sight. Both grizzly populations are well over objective set by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and they continue to grow both in number and range. In fact, the Fish and Wildlife Service scientists have twice determined that the Greater Yellowstone ecosystem bears have recovered, and they've delisted them. But litigation and court rulings prevented those from going into effect. Now, we should be celebrating the fact that grizzly bear has recovered rather than dragging out the delisting process. Montanans in grizzly bear country have been forced to adjust their life and to be bear aware at all times as they live with the bears. Where the kids play, hiking with bear spray, fencing gardens, fencing playgrounds at schools, everything is done with grizzly bears in mind. My question is, what is the target number of grizzly bears in the Greater Yellowstone ecosystem and the Northern Continental Divide ecosystem needed to meet the Fish and Wildlife Service's criteria for recovery?
Senator, I would have to get back to you with the numbers that the scientists and that the data shows, but I can tell you that the reviews...
No, just what's the recovery target? What's the not what the current populations are, what's the recovery target?
Senator, I don't have...
I've asked you 5 times
we'll be happy
since
to
you
get back
began
with you.
the process. First, when we began the process for your confirmation, before we even became public, I asked you, and you said, I don't know. I mean, if I haven't telegraphed the test questions to you, let me be clear, I'm just asking, what is it? So you don't know.
I don't have the target number.
That's another way to say I don't know.
But I would be happy to get back with you.
Okay, well you know what? Unlike Senator Risch's question, you don't have to get back to me. I will tell you what they are, and please write these down. The Greater Yellowstone ecosystem recovery target is 500 bears. Write that down. And next time I ask you the question, when you come before me, please have that answer for me.
Thank you, sir.
The second is the Northern Continental Divide ecosystem. That number is 800 bears. So 500 for Greater Yellowstone, 800 for the Northern Continental Divide. My next question, how many grizzly bears are currently estimated, according to FWS information, to be in the Greater Yellowstone ecosystem and the Northern Continental Divide ecosystem?
Are you asking me to add these two numbers together?
No, you wouldn't do that, because those are the targets. So
Okay.
target is the threshold we need to meet or exceed to get delisted. So that's the target. I'm asking you now, how many bears are there? Let's start with the Greater Yellowstone ecosystem.
Senator, I have a suspicion that you would just tell me that number because you likely know it. If you would like,
So you don't, no,
would like to tell me, I'm happy. I don't
Okay.
have the number.
So
in
here you
front
can
of me.
write down target, 500 and 800. Now let me give you the numbers from FWS. These aren't numbers that my staff made up.
Okay.
These are the 2022 numbers, the most current data. It's 965 in the Greater Yellowstone ecosystem. It's 1,138 in the Northern Continental Divide ecosystem. So make a chart. 500 is the target. Actual is 965. That's Yellowstone. And now the Northern Continental Divide, the target is 800. Actual, according to FWS, is 1,138. So if the populations are greater than the recovery target, would you conclude the grizzly bears have now recovered?
Senator, unfortunately, I am not a scientist, so I refrain from...
You are the Secretary of Interior.
Indeed.
With complete respect.
Indeed.
You're in line of succession to the presidency of the United States.
I appreciate that, but
you are the Secretary of Interior. So if the target is 500 and the actual number is 965, nearly twice the target, have we recovered?
Senator, I'm happy to ask the scientists when I get back to the Department of the Interior. I am not a scientist. I don't want to speculate what the science would say to your answer.
The science tells us we're well over the targets. And here's another question. When did the numbers for the Greater Yellowstone ecosystem, the population of bears, exceed for the first time the recovery target of 500? What year was that?
Senator, I can't tell you that.
I will tell you that. It was 2002. It was 22 years ago where the population targets first exceeded the recovery target. 22 years. So, question, will you commit to finalize at least the now overdue status review on grizzly bears? It was supposed to be a 12-month review. We're now into 15 months. Will you commit to getting that done here?
Senator, I know the reviews for Montana and Wyoming began in February 2023, and I believe that the Fish and Wildlife Service does not have a date for completion, but I will ask them.
So let me ask you, but when we started in February, it was a 12-month review.
Indeed.
I can open my calendar up here, and now we're in month 15.
Thank you.
You're past due.
Thank you, Senator.
Yeah, and not only that, we are way over the targets. I am pleading with you to look at the science, delist the bears, return the management of this incredible species back to the people of Montana where it belongs.
Thank you, Senator. Senator King.
Thank you, Madam Chair.